Hey Jack and Graham, my name is Anshul, I'm 16 years old and I'm from Ventura, California. I'm a huge fan of all three channels and I just applied for the internship. After watching the most recent podcast episodes, I felt like you guys needed a custom piece for the backdrop, so I thought I'd make you one. Let's go! I'm an avid maker. I love creating products and selling things. My passion for making is so important to me that 3 years ago I co-founded a nonprofit that allows other kids to have the same STEM education opportunities that I did. They can learn real-world skills instead of the not-so-interesting current school curriculum. But enough of that, let's get right into the fun stuff. Today's project is going to be using a CNC router. CNC stands for computer numerical controlled, which just means it's controlled by a computer. We have a spinning bit that goes around and cuts stuff. You can cut metal, you can cut woods, you can cut plastics. This here is a 5-axis CNC machine, and the enclosure that it's in is actually a product that my friend and I manufacture and sell. CNCs can get very complicated and you can cut some pretty crazy stuff. MacBook shells are also milled out of a single piece of aluminum, obviously on much more complicated CNC mills. Using a process called V-carving on the CNC router will allow me to maximize the amount of detail on the part. This is a V-bit. It has a pointed tip at a certain angle. This is a 60-degree bit. This allows for the shallowest parts to be very wide and the deepest parts to be very narrow. This allows for a lot of detail and complexity with the design. Okay, so taking a look at the design, we can see it is pretty simple. However, the method of cutting, V-carving, is going to make it a little more interesting. So the Iced Coffee Hour, the letters are going to be cut on the inside, and then with Graham and Jack, the outside is going to be cut, leaving the letters flush with the surface of the material, giving it the same kind of styling as the YouTube banner. And then obviously got to remind the viewers to smash the like button. Okay, so I'm preparing the piece of material. It's a pretty big piece of wood, so I'm just going to use a bunch of pieces of 3M tape, and that usually works pretty well to hold the piece of material down to the wasteboard. It's pretty secure and obviously very easy. And then along with the tape, I'm also going to be using some clamps on the outside just for some extra security. The reason for using the tape and the clamps is because if I'm just using clamps and then the inside gets cut out and comes free and gets caught on the bit, of course it'll get damaged, which would suck. Okay, so now I'm homing the whole machine. Basically, I'm just going to bring it to the bottom left corner. I have a lot of extra space, so I'm not going to put it in the exact corner. I don't want the clamps to get hit or anything. And then I'm going to use a piece of paper basically to zero the bit to make sure it knows the correct thickness and make sure it cuts the correct depth. After getting everything homed, I'm just going to go ahead and click carve and hope for the best. Alright, now I'm going to mix 1 part hardener and 1 part resin with a few drops of transparent green dye for the epoxy inlay. After a long 24 hours, the resin had dried, and the piece was ready to go through the drum sander to remove the messy top layer of resin and make it flush with the rest of the wood. To finish this guy up, gave it a quick sand with the palm sander, and then a few nice coats of polyurethane spray just to give it that nice shine, and protect it and seal it. Now, just before I end this, I would like to say thank you for the incredible content you guys put out every day. I've learned a ton. This year alone, I've made close to $15,000, 12 of which is saved and invested. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys enjoy the piece.